Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Truth Podcast. My name is Neek Robinson. I am your host of this show, and today I wanted to bring on another special guest, a good friend of mine, actually, Mike Pham. Bro, what's going on, man? What's going on?
What's up, man? Glad to be here.
Bro, I'm excited, man. I've been seeing your work for, I don't even know how long. I feel like it's been, since I was in high school, and I feel like... I don't know, I feel like in the past year I've gotten closer to you for sure, but man, how long have you kind of been, well, first off, backtrack real quick, who is Mike Pham today and how old are you? Kind of give people that do not know you just a little bit about yourself a little bit.
Mike Pham is a freelance photographer out of Des Moines, Iowa. I'm 22 years old and I've been doing photography seriously for about a little over a year, almost a year and a half. But I was doing sports photography in high school, and that's what you probably saw.
Yep.
I did a few of that, a few of this, and then I wasn't really much into it from then, but I always posted things like iPhone photography or something like that.
Yeah, bro, I feel like, it was always, because you went to North, right? Yep, so, back when I was in high school, I'd always see, all the basketball guys kind of, tagging you in photos and stuff, and you were just, even then, they were just, so astronomically good, man, and I just, I've seen your progression, how we were kind of talking before the podcast, just your progression as a photographer, in the past year, I've seen it just totally, blown up, and it's, I'm very astonished by, what you're doing right now, too. If you kind of want to give some people just, a little, I don't even know, just what kind of got you into photography and all that stuff, do you feel like? Or do you feel like it's always kind of been?
I think it's always kind of been there. I never really got into it until I borrowed a camera from my boy Tim. I'll shout out his at name on Instagram later. But Tim let me borrow a Canon Rebel T7i battery grip. And from there it was kind of I can do this. This is easy to me.
Yeah, because you were posting, I've kind of, went through your Facebook page and all that stuff. You've been doing that at least since, 2014-ish?
Yeah, 2013-ish.
Yeah.
When we played Waukee my senior year at Wells Fargo for a doubleheader for the Iowa Energy at the time, I really got some good sports shots. And from there, it was I can do this.
Yep. Yeah, man, oh my God, I can't even, begin to explain. You were even really good back then. I feel like you've just always had that eye. And, as of lately, I've seen, all of your, all these, pages posting about, your work and everything. And I think that that's just so dope. So kind of segueing into that, talk about your experience with the Urban Guerrillas organization and stuff, because they've got 20,000 followers type, something like that. Kind of tell everybody kind of what that is, that you're working with them, or what, just kind of give the behind the scenes of what that exactly is.
So Urban Guerrillas is really just a creative community. They will make a profile of you on their website, and people can message you off their website, especially if you're traveling or something. They also do features and whatnot, and they're a great community. It's operated well, and they post a lot, and it's not solely just for big photographers or big creatives, big artists, and it's not just photographers, there's musicians and someone's calling me. Musicians, drawers, painters, all that, just different types of graphic designers. It's just everybody, and they will post as long as you tag and you follow and you're part of the community. So it's been a great ride, and they've given me some great exposure.
That is dope, man. That is dope. Kind of, how did you kind of come across them? You just kind of were...
I actually joined another creative community group before I joined Urban Guerrillas. Shout out Creative Minds International. That's what I joined, and a few of the members in there were a part of Urban Guerrillas, and from there I just they say put an application in, but put one in and they accepted me, and I made my profile from there, and from there it's been a smooth ride.
Yep, that is dope, man. That is dope. Yeah, because I've seen all these other pages even too, just reposting your work and stuff. And I'm like, that's my boy Mike, man. That shit's so dope. You know, so it's like, that's awesome that you're getting so much exposure too. But segueing into the next question, what do you feel like is your greatest accomplishment, like as a photographer, that you feel like you've had, or just like in life in general? What do you feel like that's been?
My greatest accomplishment as a photographer, really, for me, getting posted on local walls. Ever since I started, I always wanted to be on part of local walls, and now I got a post just this past October, November, not too long ago. So that was probably one of my greatest accomplishments, in my opinion. But other than that, I feel like growing as a person and being friends with so many creatives has been a really great insight, especially for my creativity. And to actually help me grow, as everybody can see from my feed on my Instagram or anything on my website. Shout out Life Water.
Shout out Life Water, man. Shout out Life Water again. If you guys don't sponsor us, bro, I don't even know what y'all are doing. But yeah, man, kind of piggybacking off of that, I feel like I always see you kind of interacting with a bunch of people, especially like on Twitter, you know, just all these like photographers that are from like all over the place, and then that kind of like gets their work out to me and then your followers and whatnot. So I think that that's something that's really dope about like photographers in general, is like, you know, we all kind of just give each other compliments and everything, and then like we all just kind of share out each other's work and stuff. And I think that that's really good for like a community of people. I feel like the rap community and like the music community especially, like there's like it's really big in like competition and everything. And I feel like, you know, the camera stuff, it's like, it's not really like that, but it's like, okay, it kind of gets me to kind of get off the couch and stuff, and it's like, okay, Mike's out here doing this, that, and the third, and he's slaying the Instagram timeline or the Twitter timeline and whatnot, and it like just pushes me to kind of go at different angles and like explore my photography too. So, you know, that's something that I think is really important as a community, is kind of to give each other these positive feedback on our work, regardless of what we're putting out and everything. That's really dope. Where do you feel like your love for camera work kind of stemmed from? Do you feel like you were doing were you into like painting or something like before photography that kind of segued you into it, or was it just kind of like you picked up a camera one day and it was just like that was history and that was it?
So anyone who talks basketball will tell you I know a majority of the top 50 high school recruits in each class, starting with 2019, the senior class, and that stemmed from playing basketball in high school. You can ask Sekou, my boy Sekou. Back in Sekou. High school, I used to do highlight cuts. Okay. I was a big fan of Ball's Life. Yeah. So the camera work for me and doing videography and Ball's Life kind of helped me grow like and know my camera and whatnot. And then from there, it was just like, all right, I want a camera. But I didn't buy a camera from probably 2013 to just 2017. I actually owned my own camera. Wow. So 4 years I didn't have my own camera, so I never really did anything with it.
Yeah. So were you kind of just like borrowing other people's cameras, or what were you kind of doing before you decided to? Cause you're rocking with the 5D, right?
5D Mark IV, yes, just sir. Upgraded.
Yes, sir. So like, what kind of did you use somebody else's like every time that you were trying to go out and shoot or everything, or what were you kind of doing before?
So when I was in high school, I borrowed my one of my teachers, Canon Rebel T3i battery grip kit lenses. Yep. I was shooting with that for a while, and then I went to college, didn't have a camera, and borrowed my boy Tim's Canon Rebel T7, and then I went back home, didn't have a camera. I borrowed my boy Jimmy's Canon Rebel, I don't know what he had, remember what he had, but it was it part of the Rebel series. Yep. Then I bought my own Canon Rebel T6. I only had it for a month.
Really?
So before I went to a Mark II.
Oh, gotcha.
5D Mark II.
Gotcha. That's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah, I feel like, the Rebel series was kind of cool. That's what I actually started shooting with too. It's like, it kind of gets you into it, and it's not like super expensive or anything. And like sometimes I look back on my photos and stuff, and I'm like, damn, I wish I was shooting like that still. But then like I see my other stuff that I'm shooting right now, and I'm like, okay, like it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent, and I love using my phone too, even. And I feel like that gear stigma, a lot of people like get down on themselves, saying like, oh, I need to get a better camera or whatever. And I feel like you and Borg are like always talking about like camera stuff on the TL and all that, and you guys are always like, somebody bought my or somebody asked me like, what camera do I use and all that, and then they were like, bro, I bought the camera that you use, but like my stuff still doesn't look like yours and all that. And it's like, I feel like that gear stigma is kind of a weird thing.
Shout out Borg. Let you know, Borg, I'm buying a red.
Bro, that's crazy, bro.
No, me and Borg usually joke around. He used to be a Canon guy, now he's a Sony guy. And we always, he's creating with his Sony gear, I'm creating my Canon gear, and I tell everybody, it's not really about the gear, it's about the person using it. And the more that you know about your camera, the better you can use it.
Yep, facts.
And I just felt like when I was going through my cameras, Heritage or Origin or whatever, the Rebel series wasn't enough for me. I needed a full frame.
Yeah.
So I got a full frame. My Mark II started I had it for a year, and it was giving me what I wanted, and especially at the end, but it started to give out on me.
Yeah.
It's like a car. It has too much mileage on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's the biggest thing, too, kind of touching off of what you were saying with, you need to know your camera. Otherwise, like, you're not going to be able to do everything. And, like, if you don't even understand what, like, full frame is and all that, it's like, you probably shouldn't be spending that type of money on a camera. So, you got to be able to learn the ins and outs of everything before you actually, like, step up to a bigger camera and everything, Because I was shooting with, I think it was, like, a Rebel, like, XSI or something, like, old like that. I think it was probably like 12 years old. So like,
they had a newer one,
bro.
Like 08.
Yeah, but it was like it was pretty old, man. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty old. But like, it didn't even take video and stuff. And that's why I wanted to get an upgrade, is because I wanted to take video, and that's like what I was into at the time. So I decided to upgrade to that. But yeah, I think that it allowed me to really understand all the functions of my camera, because I had that for like 2 or 3 years, and that was all that I was shooting with, and it was like I was like trying to do sports photography and everything, and it just like wasn't working for me, and I was like, okay, I gotta like do something different here. But it would have like the little modes on the top and everything. It was like have the sport mode and like all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, and it'd have like the pop-up flash and everything, and just kind of go off whenever. It's kind of weird, but that's why I feel like it wasn't working for me personally. Thanks. And I knew that like what I wanted and what I needed for the projects that I'm trying to do and everything, so I would say to people out there that are trying to look into cameras and all that, definitely like do your research before you decide to spend all that money, because that stuff is not cheap either. Like, no. It's not cheap at all.
My gear setup right now, I think, is about $6,000.
Yeah, bro, and like you don't even have like a 1DX or anything like that too, and that's like $8,000 for the body or something crazy like that too.
It's $5,000 used, I think, or $4,000 used, $5,000 brand new, just for the body.
That's insane, bro. And then the 5D records, though, too, doesn't it? Yeah.
I have 4K crop, but I'm not a videographer.
Yeah. Have you kind of, like, done anything with videos at all as of lately?
Nope.
No? Not even trying to touch on it at all? Yeah. I feel like the video thing is, like, it's really kind of cool sometimes, because it's, like, you see, like, all these different videos, and then, like, there's some people that do a lot of effects, and then a lot of people just do, like, the basic little cut and edits, and then their stuff like blows up or whatever. But and then I think that
everyone's got a different eye for it.
Yeah.
And I was telling like my guys who do it, Sekou Borg, Brendan Bear, Connor's out there with what is it, 7 Visuals. They all have patience to do the editing and the cutting.
Bro, that it's like I'll spend like 4 or 5 hours just like making a podcast. So like it's it's like
Process.
it's like a huge process. But I think that it's good to learn both. I feel like having the basics of photography and then also learning the video side of things, because like I've been kind of big into like the concert and like event photography and stuff a lot, and a lot of people want the video side of it too, and then so then they don't have to hire like both types of just one guy can do it all type of thing. So I think that's something that I've always kind of wanted to learn, is just both sides of it, so that I'm kind of like a master in both or whatever, but I think that you've definitely taken the camera, like the photography side of it, by storm, and you're just absolutely slaying the game, man. And I'm so proud of like what you've done in like the past couple of years, because you graduated in what, like 2016? 14. I didn't realize you were that much older. That's dope, bro. That's dope. What do you feel like has been like the biggest thing that you've done in that time since graduating high school? Do you feel like it is photography, or do you feel like
I think it is photography?
Else? Yeah.
Because when I graduated, I wanted to be a pharmacist.
Really?
Now look at me.
Really? Bro, that is crazy. What'd you go to school for?
Chemistry major. Pharmacy track.
Okay.
Changed it midway. Microbiology, still pharmacy track. Didn't work out. Picked up a camera.
Yep, exactly. And then are you going to Iowa State, or did you?
I went to Iowa City. So I went to the University of Iowa, left. Mm-hmm. And now I just drive up to Ames a lot.
Yep, gotcha. Yeah, man, I'm planning on going up to Ames myself next year. So, man, I'm not really excited about driving 45 minutes every day for class. But
it's actually a lot shorter once you keep doing it.
Yeah, and I feel like, once you get to Ankeny, it's like it flies back. So,
Iowa City was like that to me, because when I would go to visit, it's like, oh, I've made this drive so many times.
Yeah, I go up there like every single week, because that's where I'm at right now, is like up in Iowa City. But man, that ride gets to be long sometimes. But I've been kind of big into like listening to podcasts and all that stuff, so it kind of flies by a little bit. But let's get into some other questions here. Who do you feel like, or what is kind of your inspiration to do what you do? Do you feel like you have an inspiration, or do you feel like
I wouldn't say there's one particular person for inspiration. What motivates me to do what I do is the people that surround me.
Yep.
Especially if you surround yourself with positive people and who are creatives. And I have friends, obviously, who don't do the photography, and they're pursuing full-time jobs and careers and whatnot. And I have other friends, and I try to balance both of them, but both people are supportive. And I have lots of friends, especially since I've been doing this photography. I've made a lot of networking connections to people all across the states, even in Europe and Canada, New Zealand.
That's so dope, bro.
So it's been a fun ride. I probably want to thank personally everybody in Creative Minds. They've pushed me a lot. Great community. And just like some of the local guys, Borg, Anthony, Colton, everybody, just
all feed off of each other too. I think that's like a huge thing, is like like we were talking about earlier, just getting that positive group of people, that, because like whenever you, Colton, Anthony, or like Borg or whoever, like whenever I see your guys' work on my timeline, I'm always like, okay, I'm gonna hit this with a retweet or whatever, and then like give them a nice comment saying like, bro, this is absolute fire and shit, and and it's like that gives you guys the, I don't know, like this, the positive backing to kind of keep doing what you're doing and everything.
It's a genuine comment. It's not just like nice tones. You see a lot of that on Instagram.
Yeah, like that you see like just random people just posting, like if you use like the hashtags and stuff, and I'm like, thanks, bro, but it's
they'll say the same thing, like nice tones. But like when somebody and it's a genuine comment, then you're like, okay, I did something.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing too, because like, I don't know, like a lot of those people that do that on Instagram's really bad about it, because it's like you use the hashtags or whatever, and then like it gives you good engagement some of the time, but then it's like they'll like your posts, follow you or whatever, and then like comment on your, to try and get you to follow them. 3 days later. Yeah, and then they're just like gone. Yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I think that stuff needs to stop, but I don't know. It's like people are trying to get so much clout and get
if
random
Instagram would
followers
fix
and
itself,
stuff.
it would.
Yeah, I think that needs to change. I didn't know if that was happening to you. I figured it would, but, that's kind of the struggle of being a photographer and everything. I've been stuck at, 900 followers for, the past, 6 months.
1690, and I've been at 1690 for the last week.
Yeah, it's so weird, bro, because it's I'll shoot up to 950 and then it'll go down in 2 days. I'm like, what is going on here? Can somebody just genuinely just follow me?
Who's unfollowing me?
Yeah.
God, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really get too caught up in that stuff, but it's just I hate that my numbers just go all over the place, and it's kind of weird. I think that's why I don't know if you have a personal account too, but I do the personal account so that I don't have to get all my friends to see all my work, because I post 2 or 3 times a day sometimes. Yep. And I'm I know some people hate that stuff, so it's cool that my friends come over from there and they follow me and whatnot too. So and I think that it's cool, because then my friends can know that oh, Nico's doing pictures and he's doing this and that, so I know who to call and whatnot else. So yeah, I think that stuff's dope to kind of just nice. Yeah. But shout out to Instagram, man. They're kind of weird, but it's a good platform to have. I think. Yeah, I think that it'll fix itself in time. And they were deleting all the inactive accounts and stuff too. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I don't think they've fully gone through.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if my followers are definitely gonna go down. So it's okay. It's all good though. Getting into some of the closing questions here. What do you feel like? Are there any future plans that you have? Is there anything that Mike's saying, you're kind of talking, I can't remember if you were talking about it in the podcast, about you going out to LA and stuff, but is there anything that is kind of sticking out?
So my goal of 2019 is to travel more.
Yep.
And meet other creatives. Mm-hmm. So right now I plan every 3 months I will fly somewhere. Every other month I will drive somewhere. So right now I'm planning on a trip to Minnesota in January, about middle of January. So I'll go up there and I'll probably bring somebody with me. I think Borg is coming with me.
Yep.
And I think we're going to go up there and just shoot a bunch of things. We got the whole weekend. I think my boy T-Shot U is coming from Texas. I think he's flying in from Texas. So I hope he's ready for Minnesota cold, because it's colder than Iowa cold.
That cold, man. I was at the what's it called, the Mall of America, and I was talking to this girl there, and she was one of the workers at one of the stores, and I said to her it is so cold outside, and then she was like, yeah, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from Iowa, and she happened to be from Iowa too, but she came up to Minnesota to go to school, and I was like, dude, I don't know how you deal with this stuff. And she was like, yeah, this is what I've kind of learned is Iowa, it's really cold, but the winters in Minnesota, they hurt. And I'm like, bro, that is so true. Because I remember I walked from the Mall of America to my hotel, and it was probably 5 or 6 blocks, bro, and my face was I've never felt my face freeze or anything, but that was it was terrible. Sure. I was wow, I need to get inside and get out of the cold, because it was terrible. But do you feel is there any other places that you're planning on traveling? Is there some places on the bucket list that you feel you gotta hit?
I got LA in March. I think about Massachusetts, Boston in the fall. I haven't been East Coast yet, really much other than Florida.
Yep.
I also have Colorado, Kansas City in June. Yep. Me know some super dope creatives. Ryan, Maggie. At LA, I've got a ton. Sterling, Trey. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's more coming. I don't know who. I don't want to give details out yet.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that stuff's dope, man, because I think that are a lot of those people based in those cities too? Actually,
LA will be, if it's planned right, everybody in the same Airbnb as me will be from, most people will be from a different state.
Okay. Gotcha. That would be dope, man, because I think that, it's kind of cool if you know people in different states and stuff, because then it kind of saves money on hotel rooms and stuff, because a lot of people are willing to let you sleep on their couch and whatnot, because they're going through the same thing, and they don't want to spend all that money. So I think that's dope to kind of finesse your way to getting a place to stay and all that stuff too. Bro, I would feel like the East Coast is really dope too. I've been to a few of the states over there, so I would definitely put that on your list too. New York is like super dope. I don't know if you've ever been there. Yeah,
New York, but I didn't know when.
Yeah, because like New York's really hot in the summer. It's like super hot. It's like, and I went there like last summer, and everybody like knew that I wasn't from there, and it's really weird like how they know that, but they're like,
it was like when I was in Florida. I was wearing a long sleeve in 70-degree weathers, and everybody was kind of looking at me like I wear long sleeves in Iowa in 70 weather, and they're fine.
It's weird how people can kind of tell where you're from and everything, or they can tell that you're not from here. It's kind of just weird how that happens. I feel like I can't really tell if somebody's from Des Moines or not, you know? It's like, I can kind of tell by, like, their accent, but, like, other than that...
Do Iowans have accents?
That's what I was wondering, bro, because I went to North Carolina, last week.
Do you say pop or do you say soda?
I say pop.
I say soda.
Do you really? Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think that's, like, one of the big ones to, like, the people in the South, especially, like, because I was in North Carolina, and they were, like, had that Southern accent, and I was like, yeah, I can tell that they have an accent, but, like, I don't know if I do, you know? It's kind of weird how that works, and then I feel like New Yorkers definitely have an accent, and I can tell. And then, like, I feel like the boroughs in New York, like, some people talk a little bit different. Yeah. So then they can kind of tell by just how you sound, which is kind of weird. I don't know how that really works, but it's interesting stuff. And you learn so much of, like, the different people in as you travel. And I think that, like, makes me value being from Des Moines a lot, too, because, like, a lot of people are assholes in, like, different parts of the United States, but... It's interesting, and then there's always that saying of like Iowa nice and everything, and that's like the biggest thing, and I think that's really good to have, especially like if you're growing up here. It's like nice to have people that are just kind and good to you and stuff like that. All right, man. What is one thing that Mike has to do in life? Is there like one thing that sticks out that's like on your bucket list that you have to do when it's all said and done? You know, are you feeling like what is like the one thing that you would have regrets?
This is a tough question.
Let it marinate, let it sit in. It's a tough question,
man.
This
is really a tough question. I don't know. I think it's just allowing my parents to go back to their home country. And just living life with me funding them from afar. Yep, facts.
That is beautiful too, man, because like family's a big thing in life too, and I think that, you know, a lot of people don't have a good family backing. I don't know, like your personal story with it, but it seems like from what you talk about that, you know, family's a big role in your life, and that's super good to have, you know.
Oh yeah.
How big is your family? You got like a huge family or anything?
It's kind of a small family.
Small?
Big. I'm the only child to my mom.
Okay.
And I'm the baby to my dad.
Okay. Gotcha.
He's got 4 priors.
4. Gotcha.
To me.
How old are your siblings? Are they a lot older than you?
A lot older than me.
A lot older than you?
I think the oldest one is almost 12 years older than me.
Really? Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Do you feel like it's do you guys like get together for like the holidays and stuff?
We try to.
Yeah.
But they live in eastern Iowa.
Yeah.
Dad's always working or I'm always working.
Yeah.
And so I can always get up there.
Yeah, I feel that. Life is hard, man. It kind of takes you into different places where you don't really know that it's going to go. Yeah, bro, I got a pretty decently big family. It's like there's my mom's side with like my grandma, cuz like my mom is divorced, and then my grandma got divorced too. So then, like, we see, like, both sides of my mom's family. And, like, my mom's dad's side of the family has, like, 100 people that come. And then my mom's mom, she, like, has, like, 40 or 50 people that come. So it's, like, a lot of people, you know. So that's going to happen here in, like, 2 days. I think that I got one Christmas, like, on Saturday, and then one on Sunday too, so like, you know, but then after that it's cool, and I think that it's good to like see all the family members and all that stuff, and we don't get together a lot, so, you know, it's cool to kind of see where everybody's at and all that too. So this is like my last main question that I have for you. So like, I don't know if you've watched the podcast before. This is one that I tell everybody. So I want you to imagine that I have a copy of the New York Times written right here. It's written from 10 years from now. The cover page is a picture of you, and there's an article written about you. What is in this article, and what is this picture of?
My true friends would say I did something terrible.
Word.
But
is there a dark side to Mike that we don't know about?
No, there's no dark side.
Yeah,
I'm just a goofy person. But hold on, give me a second.
Yes, sir. Let it sit. Let it marinate, man.
I'd probably have to say I just did something in the photography world.
Yeah.
Something community wise. I wouldn't say something like just that I did, because I would like to bring others with me.
Yeah.
And I always try to. I try to give people just as much exposure.
Yeah. Do you feel like is there, like, with photography, do you feel like you always want to be like a freelancer, or what do you feel like is your goal with it? Do you feel like you
honestly,
want to open up a shop?
I like the freelance stuff.
Yeah, freelance side is like good, because it's like you don't have to put in a bunch of time and effort and stuff to it. It's like, you can just call up a friend and just be like, yo, trying to shoot today, go out and do your thing, and then it's cool because then you get their followers. If they post your stuff on their profile, they get their followers to come and check your workout and stuff, so it's kind of a win-win for everybody too. But that is really good, man. That is really good. Is there anything that you want to like shout out for anybody that's out there listening or anything like that?
I'm just going to say shout out to the Creative Minds community, Creative Minds International. Shout out Urban Gorillas, Local Wolves. Shout out to all the local Des Moines photographers and creatives, musicians, videographers. You guys are all doing great. We're all going to do this together and grow together.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That is beautiful, bro. Where can everybody kind of find you on social media or website, whatever? This is your chance to shout out all that stuff.
Follow me on Instagram, Mike Pham, Pham as in monkey, .jpg. And Twitter's the same, but instead of a dot, it's an underscore. I post all of my work on Instagram. I post 3 to 4 times a day. Check it out. I've got a website. It's in both my bios. Check it out.
Yes, sir. Mike, appreciate you, brother, for coming through today. Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you. Everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. It was a little bit of a shorter one. Not too bad. 30 minutes. It's like a little TV show kind of thing. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in today.
They're short and quick.
Bro, it's all good, man. I appreciate you just for coming on today and just speaking your mind and everything, And I think that's a good thing to have for the podcast. It allows a creative or whoever, just to come on and tell their story, And there was a lot that I didn't know about you, And I think that there's probably a lot of people out there that didn't know.
I told you to do your research. It was going to be hard to find.
Bro, it's good, man. I found a few things. I feel like I got some questions in too, especially on the photo side of things, It's good stuff.
It would have been interesting if you asked somebody else, like Borg or somebody.
Yeah, bro, I'm trying to get in some other podcasts too, and I feel like it would be dope to have a group one of everybody kind of that we're close to.
I think you should.
I think that would be something dope too, but. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to today's podcast. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Be easy, stay blessed, all that stuff. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.